the number of participants they have, and they have to have X number, probably got to be on that or whatever. That's why it's so scary when we have to put it down. So, no, I was in the Caribbean, Southern Caribbean. I was on the Bermuda 2 weeks before that. I won't be going anywhere for a while. End of August. I'll be already. Which is great. I'm so that lives in England. As I was telling people last week, like, you don't travel. Yeah. I leave Monday. Yeah. You have a good time. Right for the end of the hits. I didn't know today. All right, with that, I think we're at a good time to start. Director Mulder, are we good to go online?
We are.
Excellent. Welcome everyone to the May, hard to believe it's already May, 2024 City Council meeting. This meeting, and I'm just really a little script that Vicki wrote, but I'll try not to read it. This meeting is hybrid, which means we have a live session here. We have individuals that are going to be dialing in on Zoom. And we also live stream these meetings. We've been doing that for quite some time now. So we try to make every possibility available for individuals to attend these meetings, or at least even watch them in a replay. So again, welcome to our meeting here. It says to use the gavel. I don't think I've ever used this, but I shall anyhow. Let me go ahead and open the meeting here. We'll stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, with that, to just get a few of the meeting processes out of the way, on the consent agenda, counselors, there has been a correction, if you have not seen it, on topic C. Authorizing the city administrator to sign should be reading and authorize the mayor to sign. Just want to make sure you guys have seen that. And with that, is there any consent agenda topics you would like to hold out for regular regular discussion? I'll start with Councilor Odrich. I don't know. Councilor Steiner. I don't know. Councilor Yama. I have none. Okay, then we'll keep consent agenda as is. We do have a very packed meeting this evening, so we will dig right into it. With that, let's kick it off with our first agenda topic, Travel Salem presentation. We have Mr. Cobb, Community Relations Specialist. Hello. The second.
Sorry, I crashed the party.
No worries, everyone's always welcome.
Well, Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you for having us. We're Travel Salem. I'm Anton Cobb. I'm the Community Relations Specialist.
Sorry, and I'm Kara Koo. I'm the Deputy Marketing Officer for Travel Salem.
We're going to do our very best to respect your time here. So you do have a full agenda. So we just wanted to stop by today, talk to you a little bit about our organization. We're in the midst of our strategic planning session for 2025-2030. There's a lot we've been working on, and now coming out of our annual reporting, wanted to touch base and let you folks know what we have going on here. Our annual report has been published. If you take a look at travelsalem.com/industry, we have all of our reports, including our quarterly reports, our economic impact reports. And Travel Salem is the DMMO over Marion and Polk counties. So when we're talking about our region, you'll see some numbers here outlining some of our estimated economic impact. We're just on the cusp of having our 2023 numbers. Those will be published late May. But based on 2022, we had a banner year of estimated economic impact driven by tourism, 782 million. This surpassed the previous year by nearly 16%. And the back here, you can see on the right there, the gold line is our total. Marion County is there in blue, and Polk is there in red. And you can see a dip that you probably recognize from the COVID times. But what's great about this is, we've recovered coming out of the challenging time there. And so we're looking to the future, getting a sense of, what folks are coming to the region for, where they're spending their money. You can see here within our region, folks are interested in our arts and entertainment, our food and beverage, accommodations. And what's wonderful about the tourism industry is all this economic spend, all this impact supports 7,850 jobs within the tourism sector, and $33.50 returns to the local economy for every $100 of visitor spending, which is exciting. This is what that 7,850 folks look like. You don't always see all of the tourism folks gathered together. So, hotels, hospitality, restaurants, it's a great deal larger of a group than you might expect. Who are our visitors? So 2.66 million visitors traveled to the region in 2022. They predominantly identified in the boomer range. You can see the upper right graph there in gold. But we had great, across all of the age breakdown, we had some great impact there. 2/3 of our repeat visitors were from Oregon and Washington. And you see there the graph on the bottom, we have overall trip on the very bottom. Those are great numbers for satisfaction for folks traveling through the region. We're really proud of all the aspects that they're seeking out in our region. And one of the reasons it's been such a healthy growth out of the COVID era is because of the diversity of the assets that we have here in the region. If you look at who our visitors are from states of origin and countries of origin, you see Oregon, Washington, California, then Nevada, Texas, USA, very much the dominant country of origin, followed by Canada and the UK. The pie graph up there, you'll see repeat travelers in the red, lots of repeat travelers, which we think is a very, very healthy place to be when you have folks that are visiting and revisiting and seeking out other assets within the region. And a little bit about our travel party composition there, lots of couples, but also families and friends. This is really exciting data for us. So Placer is geofencing data that we have, where you basically put a pixel on somebody and travel with them throughout the region. What's interesting here is this is basically we're defining a visitor as somebody from 50 miles or more away. And these graphs or these charts here are ranked based on percentage of visitors. So folks from 50 miles away within all the visitors to these different assets. So on the left, you'll see in the orangey color, some of our Salem events. So these are all events. On the left, Salem events, and then in the blue, events outside of Salem. So you see, as far as events go, Salem is driving a lot of folks through their events. But if you go on the right, the larger chart there, you'll see that switches. So the region is driving visitors through the regional attractions. So events on the left, attractions on the right. So a little bit about some of the destination development we've been doing. We launched the Mid-Willamette Valley Tourism Economic Development Consortium, which has been a great forum for folks throughout the region to discuss economic development issues and suggestions and brainstorming. And something that's come out of that is our lodging task force, which has met and is focused on places that we have opportunity for hotels, connecting developers to interested parties. So it's been a really exciting conversation there. Our next Mid-Willamette Valley Tourism Development Consortium is June 20th at Charles Salem's headquarters. Sorry, the font's got a little messed up here, but we're also welcomed commercial air service, which I'll have Kara speak to.
Yeah, just to give you a quick update on, as you know, Travel Salem's been working with other regional partners to recruit commercial air service, which helps us our whole region. This just gives you a little bit of data here. Obviously, you know, we now have 3 routes. Las Vegas, Burbank, and they added Sonoma County. These are all being flown through Abello Airlines, which is what they call an ultra low cost airline. And as of April 18th, 25,000 passengers have flown on those flights. And about half of those are visitors coming to the region. So we're going to continue to pursue airline recruitment and commercial air service to really bolster the region. This is just a quick glance at, we are able to sort of track the visitors that are coming into the airport and then which hotels they're staying at. So it gives us a picture of where they're staying, some in Salem, some throughout the region, and then some not in the region, right? We've sort of got some others up there, Chinook Winds, some hotel working with minimums. So it just gives us an idea of who, you know, who's coming and where they're staying. So we can develop our programs around knowing this kind of data. Quickly, Wine Country Plate, this is just in case you don't know, Travel Salem oversees what they call Region 1, which is Yamhill, Marion, and Polk County, where we receive funds from Travel Oregon. They administer those funds to Travel Salem, and then we work with Marion, Polk, and Yamhill counties on a 27-member advisory group to use that money to promote the entire region. The money cannot be split up. It is used to promote what they call Region 1, defined by Travel Oregon, the Oregon statutes. It's $1.88 million that we're using to bolster the whole region. It has to be used for culinary tourism, and again, it has to promote that whole region. So it's giving lift. We're actually targeting some folks in Texas and Seattle because the data shows that that's where folks are coming for the wine. So we're bringing folks to the region that way. This is just, I'm not going to go through the numbers of this. What this slide is showing you is we have a way to track how our advertising, our website visits, even our blogs and social media, how that all leads up to hotel revenue. We track that through a system called Adara. But it's actually showing us, that way we can really see how all those things are working together. Our digital advertising, is it really working? Is it really driving people to stay in the region? Because that's what we need for economic prosperity. So you can just see there at the bottom in the red, the total bookings, 12,000, a little more than 12,000, the revenue spend, versus the ad spend, or the revenue generation versus ad spend. And then the return on ad spend, for every dollar that we spend on advertising, we're returning 8. And this again is tracked through a system called Adara, that's a third-party system. Obviously, we have a website, travelsalem.com, a little more than 200,000 user sessions last year, and we were really excited. We implemented a widget on our site this year. It translates it into 5 additional languages. So we're very pleased to be able to do that, to offer that to visitors and anybody using our website. Oops, there we go. Social media content, we obviously run social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, we're on TikTok. And this is just an idea. We do produce a lot of video. We work with content producers and some in-house folks who produce a lot of videos. We feature different assets throughout the region. This is just a list of some of the assets that we featured, particularly from Marion County, over the past year. Print advertising, again, this is just to sort of show you, in 1920, we didn't do a lot of print advertising. Our budget didn't really allow us to do that. Now in 22, 23, we're actually doing a significant amount of print advertising. And when we're doing print advertising, we are featuring the whole region. We feature farm trails, we feature the Marion Farm Loop. It isn't just Salem, it's all different regional assets that we're featuring in those different ads, print advertising. So public relations, when we talk about public relations, we're talking about earned media. This is where we work with travel writers to bring them into the region, influencers, we bring those folks, bloggers into the region, we show them all around the area, and then of course they write about us or they post about us. Last year we worked with 78 different writers, editors, and bloggers, and we got about 81 articles and references. When we say articles and references, we're talking about articles, and then if there's a reference to a particular asset, like one article might have 10 references to great things to do in the region. So that's how we're counting those up. Just some examples of articles that we've placed in the last year. MSN, Time Magazine, the Boston Globe. On the conventions and sports side, we coordinate bid proposals, to secure group business to come in. Ironman being one of those really big events, but we do a lot of other events as well. We arrange site visits and we assist with pre and post conference tours and activities for any groups or conventions or sports that are coming into the region. These are just a few more highlights. On the right, it's just a social post, example of a social post that we've done on Board House in Silverton. The second example is a blog where we sort of round up, again, things throughout the region. It isn't just about one area. We're usually looking for a theme. So this one was, what to do with your dogs. People travel with their dogs, so we highlighted different assets. E-communications, again, that's our blog and our different consumer newsletters. We send those out to a little more than 10,000 stakeholder subscribers are on our newsletter. And we produce a visitor guide, an annual. This is our one annual print piece that we really do. We do 120,000 of those distributed throughout Oregon, California, Washington, British Columbia. If you think print is dead, we know, but the data actually shows that it's not. People, especially travelers, want a piece on the ground. The data has shown us that, so we continue to print a regional visitor guide. And, visitor information, obviously we have visitor information in Salem, and then we have some additional areas, additional spots that are deemed where they can actually help all the visitors the same way we could in our visitor center or headquarters in Salem. We're always looking for new locations for that too. So if you have any ideas about that, we'd love to hear about them. So we promote different events there. We have all the different regional materials and anything that anyone asks for, we can pretty much provide for them, as well as, information about Travel Oregon or other areas throughout the state. We assist those folks. Oops, sorry. This is just our last little slide. We have a headquarters again in downtown Salem, and we would love for you, if you want to come to our open house. We have an open house Thursday, 3 to 6, just to welcome everybody when we finally are up and running in our regional visitor center. So that is it. Sorry, I know we rushed completely through that. Questions?
Quick question for you.
Yeah.
This is, by the way, a 1 to 8 return on every dollar spent. $8 return. That's huge.
Yeah.
I was going to say that I've seen a lot of your print ads. I've been traveling a lot over the last couple of months, and I have seen these ads everywhere I've gone. Whether they're airplane magazines, whether it's on Facebook or whatever, they're popping up. So it's obviously the reach is out there. You mentioned Marion and Polk County, but then Yamhill. Is Yamhill only part with the wine country?
Yes, so Travel Oregon, the way they broke up the regions, and they had to do this because of the Oregon statute. When that went into law, for some reason, I honestly don't know why Yamhill is bunched in that region, but it is. That's just the way they broke it up, but it's only for wine country plate money, and we have to work together as like a 3-county region to use those dollars. So, yeah.
It seems like you're having an amazing impact, but honestly, recovering quite well from the 2020 down slope that we had. In fact, growing past where you began tracking, at least on that flat. So fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't need to monopolize other questions.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Well, thank you guys for both coming up and giving this presentation. I actually learned quite a lot, more than I would have known beforehand. So,
Thank you.
okay. I'm sorry, did city staff have any questions or anything they want to bring up?
No, Mayor, Council, I just want to say that I really appreciate Travel Salem and our partnership, and we kind of all work together as VMOs in the region, and it's just exciting that we're partners and all of
I
that.
think it's fantastic. I love seeing things like Mount Angel's Oktoberfest on the tulip area that's on there. I mean, the things in this region that are popping up and just continuing to grow. Hopefully, as we can continue to grow our own amenities, et cetera, we can also see those type of encouragements going out.
Well, and Mayor, that's a good point. So I forgot to mention as well that I am working with the Hop Festival, and I'll be getting a flyer to post on their website as well.
Yeah, flyer, or we have an event calendar, we can get it also, just let me know or let Anton know, and Sean's she really is a great conduit. We have we're getting a lot of great information through her, so we can keep that going. That's really helpful.
That's awesome. Is there also a way for us to like get things on the calendar, like the movie night we're doing, the concerts in Aurora that they're doing? I mean, those type of things where people
Yeah.
can always see there's so many things to do, just get up and go.
Yeah, we can either enter those for you, or I can connect with you, if you can enter them if you want more control over the description, but I can do it too. Okay.
Because it was interesting, timely, only because, and I don't mean we wasted time, my apologies. But I was, had a constituent reach out, they're renting a house, and they were asking, what do youths do around here? What can they do? I'm like, oh, there's so much to do. And this is just the type of information that individuals just need to get in their hands, so they can see all the different activities that are going on.
Yeah.
Especially, the cycling or whatever might be going on around here. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys coming up. Thank you very much.
Of course, and we work with North Marion County, and so between North Marion County and Travel Salem, we kind of can leverage each other's work, so it's like a double, we really have a synergistic relationship, so. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, with that, let's move on to the Economic Development Committee presentation, and, Mr. Legazara? Did I even get that close?
Thank you, Mayor Lagarde, I appreciate that. I really love that idea on the hot festival, because that's, something definitely pushing to get more of those ads. I love that, Sean, that's great. My name is John Lagarza. I'm with the Healthy Sustainable Communities. We're located in Wilsonville, Oregon. And I'm here tonight just to present to you an idea about an economic development commission for city council to consider here. So again, just some quick bullet points we're going to talk about for the council to think about an economic development commission. One of the goals that could align it is just thinking about how you promote tourism, thinking those can happen within your economic development commission. Spend some time looking at your visions and your goals that you've done over the years, and you're lining at the perfect time to really think about establishing an economic development commission for your city here. And kind of just talk about how that would go, would be a brief, draft resolution that you could bring forward here to the council for approval. And then just think about the overview of what the Economic Development Commission, how many members would be there, their term limits, and kind of what they would be involved with from a city standpoint. And then lastly, just to gather your feedback on this idea tonight. So really your EDC can be a great advisory board to the city here and to the city council here. And really working with staff here to foster economic growth within the city, health, prosperity, and sustainable development for residents and businesses in Hubbard here. And the EDC, functions just like any other public meeting. It gathers input, formulates recommendations to the council, specifically around economic development policies, plans, and proposals for the city council to think about. And one of the main goals that you'll see that comes out of an EDC right away is really establishing a strategic plan, like a 5-year plan, to really help you align with programs and ideas over the 5 years and think of funding and opportunities from that. When you come into your town here on Highway 99, an example, like what's the wayfinding, signage, branding, getting that name recognition as you come into your community. That could be something that could be one of the strategic goals within the strategic plan for the EDC. Other things that can come within an economic development and the strategic plan is thinking about like building your branding teams, right? Finding, resources to fund infrastructure projects, whether they be business projects, city parks, a new police department. And the EDC can also be the lead to explore resources such as establishing an urban renewal agency, or even like we talked about on the wayfinding, reaching out to ODOT and finding the TGM grant to look at placemaking along your area. And EDC can also be the spot where you can start a Main Street program. If you've heard of Oregon has some great Main Street programs, right now the Oregon State Parks program. Several cities in Oregon have won the National Main Street competition. It's a great way to get your business community engaged and participating and bring awareness there. And it's a great opportunity to really work with your businesses and in the Old Town area to communicate and help them recruit into your area there. So other ideas and programs that come out of that is a storefront program, storefront rep programs, signing programs, theming programs. Those can be, developed in your strategic plan to have and help align for businesses in the future there. The EDC also can help you just like this, run the marketing strategy, just what you talked about there, and the tourism marketing strategy, aligning with, Travel Salem, aligning with other agencies and be able to promote events and activities that you have in the community. That collaboration just builds stronger. That's the second bullet point. And the EDC really works as trying to also be a voice for your body to work with regional, the county, state, and national organizations. And that really helps to aim and just provide what your goals are as a council and as a town. It's hard enough for cities right now for revenue coming in. It's just a minimum, right? So having that collaboration and going out and being able to pursue other grants or opportunities is one way to build that message. So county comes or the state comes, you have this clear line of vision and goals that you're aiming to do. So It's a diverse membership that really represents different sectors for your EDC. And it also helps them, enhance the positivity in the Hubbard community there. So just, some overall responsibilities and objectives there. So one of the main points, again, that we normally see is a design and a strategic plan the first year. Working through that provides oversight to marketing ideas for the city, how to enhance your communication with the businesses, and also how you share information and recruit businesses within your community and keep the business there and grow them. And also offer opportunities to help them connect and work with your local banks and credit unions, help them grow and expand there. And then also, just creating future programs such as like storefront program or signage program. Those are opportunities to think about. And even for the industrial employment, it's like, what kind of incentive programs could you have for here to have living wage jobs in your community here? How this would happen is basically a membership process. Members of the EDC would be appointed by you as the council here. Follows the same process that the city has for other committees here. The EDC consists of a maximum of 9 voting members, no more than 2 members from your planning commission. Eligibility, we like to have people that live, work, and have tangible connections to Hubbard here. Representing private for-profit, nonprofit public sectors, as well as private citizens with relevant experience rate. A lot of people ask why not for profit, but a lot of times your workforce training organizations are not non-for-profit organizations. And that's helpful to have. So if you have to have training match up with your businesses from that standpoint. Terms are appointed for 3 years with staggering appointments ensuring continuity. 4 members for the first 2 years and then 5 members for 3 years. Ex officials can also serve on the committee there too. Next steps to consider for the council here, we move forward to offering the staff to establish a resolution for EDC for your June city council meeting. You could start the EDC strategic plan in July. You could have your applications ready in August, and then you could appoint your members in September and be up and running, have your first meeting in October 1st there. So again, thank you so much for your time tonight, and happy to answer any questions around the EDC here for this evening.
I don't have any questions. I think it's a fantastic idea. The only hiccup I see is finding volunteers to serve on a committee. We seem to have a lack of that. But maybe this is something we can actually engage and get some of our definitely business community members. We used to have something called the Hubbard Economic Development Group, or yeah, exactly. They did flower baskets around town. It was fantastic. And I don't know, for some reason, 10, 15 years ago, they just kind of disbanded. Fell apart.
Yeah, it was a subset of the Woodburn's the business community organization, and so they were kind of fit underneath them for a nonprofit 501c3 designation. And at some point, there just wasn't enough interest in the local businesses to maintain that, so that's all. That was about a while ago, so I don't know if there's a new interest out there or not.
I don't, maybe. I'll leave it at that. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I have had conversations with many of our business partners, as well as some of my connections that I've built through the North Marion Tourism Collaborative. There is interest out there, especially in our business community, to develop some sort of strategic plan for the city to start following to help bolster our economic development within Hubbard. And partly getting a economic development strategic plan in place lays the foundation for some economic development grants that are out there that would help with revitalization of 3rd Street, development of 3rd Street, and some of the priorities that were outlined between beautification and everything else. So,
Well, I could definitely see from the visioning session you had a lot of interest from business owners showing up at that want to get engaged. Again, my only concern would be if we can find individuals to fill 5, 9, positions.
What's the cost for your company in cities?
What's the cost for it?
Cost.
We do the economic development for the city banks and the city of Decatur, and that's $50,000 for the year. So, and to help you out, we walk door to door to solicit applications. We also do listening sessions to really engage folks and get them engaged from that standpoint. And we would like to see a mix of industrial component folks there for living wage jobs, small Main Street. And then I'd really like to see, some youth involved, right? So if there's a DECA program at the high school, having that youth voice is always a strong input and help to having that. So you can get them. I understand we run into this but you'll be amazed when you start going door to door out there that, the number of folks that are involved that want to be, here at the city person.
Are there any grant opportunities that can help run something like this? It's like, where would we find? I don't know, Sean, do you have any leads right now or?
Yeah, so Mayor, Council, real quick, just so you know, he's doing this as a pro bono just to help get an.
Show us how to do it, right, you could do this.
Opportunity.
Yeah.
There is a procurement process we have to follow. Later on in the council meeting, there is a discussion about the Community Prosperity Initiative grant program through Marion County. They are extending that program and offering $60,000. It can be a lump sum or $20,000 over 3 years. So that is a discussion that we can have later on in council.
And to your point, like Travel Salem, we've worked in it, you work in the city of Dallas, and you're helping them set up a tourism plan over there. So once you get that strategic plan set, and then outline the 5 years, and then here's some funding strategies, you can't do everything in year one, but like to think about you have a great opportunity to brand the hop festival there, right? So I would immediately be thinking about that as, how do you go to Travel Salem, Travel Oregon, get more money for that event, more advertising, and then also, other events, right? Having some other events to come into your downtown corridor and look at that, right? Business Oregon has grants for industrial, special work, public funds, so looking at your infrastructure opportunities there. And then the last thing too is, to really maybe think about studying an urban renewal and capturing some of those dollars to come in and do those capital extensions that you need or infrastructure. Those are necessary things to keep those dollars within your community too. So there's a lot of good things that help you fund future projects.
We've heard from Councilor Rogers and Councilor Steininger, Councilor Donald.
Yeah, again, just to reiterate, finding people to sit on this board, at least in general, is difficult, although during our visioning process, we had good participation early in the program, but it shrinks down as time goes on. Yeah, other than I don't have any questions or comments. Thank you.
And sometimes making your EDC also your Main Street program too helps some of the business engagement. Those folks engaged because they understand the Main Street program, might have heard of it from that standpoint there too. So
No, I really appreciate you sharing the slideshow and the information. It's really helpful to see how it works.
Yeah, very timely, because as I know, we're looking at academic, or not academic, but economic development.
thank you.
Thank you.
For your time too. Yep.
Excuse me, now, stuck in my throat. All right, let's go ahead and we're gonna hand this over now to Administrator White for confirmation of the goals and priorities for fiscal year 24-25.
Great, thank you, Mayor and Council. As we talked about early on in this meeting, this is kind of a hefty agenda, so you're unfortunately gonna have to listen to me a lot. So I will try and go through a lot of these topics fairly quickly, but also always want feedback, input, and recommendation. So during the April 9th City Council meeting, the City Council identified 3 priorities: infrastructure and safety, economic development, and amenities. Within that framework, City Council discussed potential projects that would fit within each priority. Listed in the attachment of your packet, there are 3 sub areas, which include beautification and improving Highway 99E, revitalization for commercial and retail between 99E and 3rd Street, and continued work with key stakeholders. Additionally, staff has listed several projects that are either underway or were considered in the development of the 2024-25 budget. Staff is requesting City Council to review the list of priorities and projects and provide approval or recommended changes. Once approved, staff will develop a strategic plan for fiscal year 25. And now staff will turn it over to council for discussion. Bless you.
The beautification on, improvement on Highway 99E. I like what you have listed here. How realistic are some of those?
So Mayor, Council, that is a very good question. So, there's gonna be a lot of partnership with key stakeholders. So our Public Works Administrative Manager has had several conversations with ODOT regarding some of that work that we had identified, overlay sidewalks and other beautification efforts and safety concerns on Highway 99E. We have identified a potential grant that we're gonna see if we can partner on where the city is the recipient of the grant funding, but ODOT's the project manager. We're not sure how this is gonna work. We're trying to think out of the box about how to fund some of these projects when ODOT doesn't have the funding, even though they're responsible for that area. So we are looking into that. These are definitely long-term projects. I'm gonna say 5 years would be amazing.
No, what I heard over and over again in that visioning session was how do we make the city better of approach? And what you're showing here, especially the safety concerns, I know I brought that up many times as well. Have any ideas smart. I don't have any discussion. I like the collaboration and the idea that you're looking for here. On the second page, what I'm referring to, everyone, is this slide here. In terms of your continued project for 2024, 25, I think you've got what we're looking for. Number 2, I'm not so sure if that would be maybe a top priority, because I think that's something we could probably push into the following year. That would be at least my suggestion. I don't think it would get far this year. I would definitely like to see us to successfully complete the refurbishment of the tennis courts as an amenity here, for sure, the pickleball courts. Movies in the park, we've already announced, we got discussion on that later tonight. That's going to be an exciting opportunity to try to get children and families out during the summer months and providing something back to them there. Seeing the progress currently being done on the splash fountain is phenomenal. I'm going to continue teasing Superintendent Krebs that maybe our pumps won't catch on fire this year. But, you know, yeah, those are absolutely fantastic that I see. And of course, the unseen work that's continuing on this water system upgrades, static water pressure, et cetera, even though people aren't going to see that is a major infrastructure effort that we're going through. And definitely a top priority. It's been on our goals already for the last, I think, 5 years. So glad to see that finally moving forward. I mean, if we could restart the Mill Creek multi-use project, because there's enough time. You got 8 projects on here. You're already listing it. A lot of them are already well on their way. One thing I don't see on here, and I know we're going to have a discussion later, at least from public comment, is also an eventual location for a dog park. Because we do have quite a few dog owners in the city that have shown great interest in wanting to see something like that. And I would probably want to see that on our list for projects this year as well. I don't know if council has any something different, but again, from the visioning session, that's one thing that came up over and over and over again. Now, I've spoke a lot, so I'm going to hand it over real quick and we'll start with Councilor Conley.
So, I think I was the one who's kind of talked most about the Mill Creek Trail project, and that's been kind of pushed back a number of times. I know we just some negative pushback from some of the homeowners along that proposed area. But I've also had people say, yeah, it'd be really nice to have that. That way we can do a loop. You know,
To me, to add on what you're saying, I mean, it's a fantastic way, even for a safe route for children, to be able to get to school to go and walk. Getting them off of Boone's Ferry Road, et cetera, because there's no sidewalk there, and that's what he said they'll never put one in, at least in the near term.
So, yeah, the dog park, we just have to, you know, take a look closer at where we're gonna place that. And, you know, we've talked about there at the end of Mill Creek Greenway. I know we've had people who are going to talk about that tonight.
Of course, my takeaway, I think, from the last meeting was this council was in pretty good consensus that we don't probably gonna put it there. We're looking for a different location, alternative location.
Where do we?
You did? All right, well, we got one that wants it there. I want to make sure it's all, yeah, well, we have a lot of green space around. We just have to see where we'd like to try to put it. It has to be somewhere that also has adequate parking, so. So go ahead, sorry.
And, you know, just kind of on that, you know, there's, of course, there's, Barnes Park, and it's got that big walkway. I had thought about the, kind of the northeast corner of that, and when I went out there the other day, I was going, well, that's kind of a small area. I have, in my mind, I have pictures as being a larger area, so I'm kind of backtracking on that idea. So anyway, that's what my input is on that.
Yeah, I was surprised not to see the dog park in it. Outside of that, I'm really excited and have a list of things to work on.
We talked about wanting projects that were visible to the citizens, yet see what we're doing with them. So I just want to keep that in mind.
Do you think anything missing on the list besides dog park? Does that help at least kind of set those goals then? I guess the next question would be if we could put timelines behind them. And I guess we'd be looking at Public Works and Administration, come back with what timelines can be then.
And Mayor, Council, that will be part of the strategic plan development for the beginning of fiscal year 25. So with that strategic plan, we'll have our priorities, also kind of some plan of how we're going to engage with our key stakeholders and partners, and then timelines associated. One of the things that I do want to kind of keep in the back of our mind is that we have applied for Parks and Recreation grant through the state of Oregon for fencing for the dog park and then some amenities that go along with it. And then also some playground equipment to replace the playground equipment at Revenus Park. So we hope to hear soon on that one. So I will add actually the playground equipment replacement as well. Since that's part of the.
So maybe a number 10 would be playground equipment replacement project.
Mhm.
What is the lifespan for playground equipment now? Is it 10, 20, how many years? Do we know?
20.
20? So Revenus Park is well past its life, then you get that replaced.
He was put it in 95.
Well past, okay.
Is projects for the continue to set up repair program really fit into this project? I mean, isn't that been ongoing? That's where we reimburse up to half.
Correct. So Mayor, Council, eventually we'll run out of money for that. So that is something that as we go through the budget development process as well, we'll want to have some discussions about how we want to fund that. We'll also be having some discussion tonight as far as the Community Prosperity Initiative, because that is part of allowable expenditure for that grant is to use it for the sidewalk program.
Because I came in and signed checks this last week and there was at least 4, I think, reimbursement checks that went back. So to me, that looks like a program that's working.
It is, I've signed quite a few as well, and I'm seeing them throughout the city.
Yeah.
So hopefully soon everyone will feel safe to walk on the sidewalk and not divert onto the street and then back onto the sidewalks. Although we'll talk about that later. Any other questions or discussion on that topic?
It requires an approval, yes.
Do you want us to approve it as amended, or do you want to bring it back for us to approve of official list?
Approve as amended, and then I'll be bringing back the strategic plan, and if there's any modifications that need to be made, I prefer we do it there.
So maybe this should be versus a motion, this is a consensus,
Yes.
move forward.
We could make it that way. So I'd like to make a motion that the city council has gathered here and is in consensus to move forward with the as amended city goals and priorities for the 2024-2025 calendar year.
but as a consensus, we always say yes or no. So, yes, yes, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Let's move on. Next one, number 5, calendar of ordinances, the administrator wait.
Okay, so during the March 12th city council meeting, this ordinance was recommended to move forward as a revenue option for the police department. Implementation of the burglary and robbery alarm permit will not begin until January 2025. The estimated revenue from implementation of this ordinance is approximately $3,500.
Okay, before, now we're gonna be reading about ordinances here, but before we jump in, I wanna make sure, is there any concern from council on this?
I have none.
Councilor Young?
As what's here in front of us, initial ordinance of 3/8/2024 has a number of blanks in it for lists the fees. Now, are we doing, so, yeah, I know that's the second part of this, is the resolution 774/2024. But as those blanks, shouldn't there be something in it such as, reference resolution 774/2024 instead of the blanks?
Well, so the list of rates is on exhibit A.
Right, so, no, that's resolution 774/2024, is that exhibit A? Yep.
Yeah,
Or the same.
but it doesn't. So we would need to amend this resolution.
So wherever there's a blank for B or,
Exhibit A
is-
on the back.
under fees,
So Mayor and Council, I recommend that we bring this back in June.
That's fine. If there are any worries, concerns from council, we, just table this until next.
for that.
Okay, we'll table this resolution and discussion until the June meeting. I'm not gonna break
I'll
you.
reference it to it.
Okay, number 6, this is gonna be appearance of interested citizens. I'm gonna hand this discussion topic now over to Director Noble to lead us through. No worries.
This is an opportunity for members of the public to inform the council about their views. The council will not be entering into a dialogue during this time. However, the city administrator may direct staff to follow up with you regarding your comment or questions. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. I have a sign-up sheet on the table, and I also already had someone sign up. And I believe she's here tonight, Jill. Let me, is Weicker? You can go to the podium and say your name and address for the record, and then you can address the city council.
Good evening, I'm Jill Weicker. I live at 7614 10th Street here in Hubbard. And thank you for letting me speak tonight. I would like to address the off-leash dog park that is planned at the west end of the Whippoorwill Greenway. I first became aware of this on April 3rd when a flyer was left on my front door. I immediately responded to the email address on the flyer, as did other residents on 10th Street. I feel we need to be heard in person. The city of Hubbard adopted a Parks Master Plan on May 8, 2007, which became ordinance number 295-2007. This plan establishes guidelines for future and current parks within the city of Hubbard. The Whippoorwill Greenway was established as an open space area by the Master Park Plan. The Greenway has a storm sewer main down the middle of it, which must allow access for maintenance and repair. This area is 1.39 acres with the Veterans Memorial in the middle of the Greenway. According to page 55 of the Parks Master Plan, Whippoorwill Greenway will remain as an open space area. Installing a fenced area of less than half an acre that will be locked part of the day is in conflict with the open space area land use laws and contrary to the Parks Master Plan. As per page 8 of the Parks Master Plan, dedication of parkland of less than half an acre is discouraged. The Parks Master Plan directly addresses a dog park on page 65. It states the city staff and community are encouraged to identify a 1 to 2 acre site which may be appropriate for an off-leash dog park. Again, I remind you, the area you have planned is less than 4/10 of an acre. Allowing for fence allotment, this reduces the area to less than 3/10 of an acre. The planned area is not in compliance with the master park plan. The master plan also addresses areas for future park use, including the 2.25 acres on which the city waste treatment plant sits on, that is fenced and has parking available, and also other areas of possible off-leash sites. Furthermore, there are additional reasons not to section off part of the Whippoorwill Greenway for a fenced off-leash dog park, besides violating the current park master plan that was approved by the city of Hubbard and the state of Oregon. The cost of rezoning the area from an open space area. The current off-leash laws would have to be amended and approved. The land in that part of the greenway is not well drained. There is standing water in that area 8 months of the year, and in heavy rains, there is standing sewage. This area will quickly turn into a mud hole. There are 3 sinkholes in that area that would need to be fixed and not just filled in due to the sewer pipes needing to be replaced. The lack of off-street parking and street parking and accessibility to the handicapped and elderly. The increased noise from dog barking to residents in the area. The increased cost of having city employees maintain the area due to increase in dog feces, litter, and data gate monitoring and enforcement of only having dogs off leash in one particular area. The lack of accessibility to portable water for the dogs and their owners and restroom facilities for all. The lack of space to separate large and small dogs into their own areas. The threat of increase in disease transmittal to neighboring dogs not using the off-leash park. My vet recommends to never use an off-leash park due to high disease transmittal rates. The increase in liability to the city of Hubbard. Stating you have no liability does not mean you will not be liable in a court of law. Most important, the destruction of the serenity, view, and quiet enjoyment for all of the Veterans Memorial. I hope you reconsider your planned area for the off-leash dog park. Thank you.
I don't have anybody else signed up for this.
Okay, and I don't see anyone else online, so we'll go ahead and move on to the topic that I do thank you for your testimony.
You're welcome.
With that, let's move on to number 7. One topic's coming up. Intergovernmental agreement with the city of Donald for police service. We'll turn this over to Administrator Waite and Police Chief Parisi.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. In 2022, a goal-setting session for fiscal year 22-23 was held. City Council identified contracting police services to other Marion County cities as a priority. In March 2023, City Council agreed to carry over the goals identified in fiscal year 22-23 into 23-24. Staff returned to City Council during the December 12th, 2023 council meeting to inquire if there was still a continued interest in pursuing police services with other cities. In particular, the city of Donald. The City Council directed staff to proceed with negotiations. In February of this year, staff began negotiations with the City of Donald's City Administrator, Eric Underwood, CIS, City Attorneys, the Police Chief for Hubbard, and Metcom. The IGA has been included in your packet for Council's consideration. Some of the terms of the IGA include that the Hubbard Police Department will provide 20 hours per week of policing services. Hubbard Police Department will not be providing code enforcement. Hubbard Police Department will provide patrol services as time allows above the 20 hours per week. Startup costs will be equally shared, and we're looking at less than $5,000 for total startup costs. Police vehicles will be rebranded. A graphic has been included in your council packet for consideration. This is not the final rendering but staff wanted to share what a potential look would be. Additionally, uniform patches will be rebranded to reference Hubbard and Donald. Traffic court will be conducted in Hubbard. The city of Hubbard will retain all revenue generated from the traffic-related citations issued in the city of Donald. The city of Donald will pay $55,000 for the first year, and it will increase 3% annually. It is anticipated a minimum of $25,000 annually will be of revenue will be earned from traffic court. The Hubbard Police is now fully staffed, and officers, well, as of May 28th, they'll be fully staffed. And officers will be completing field training and will be able to be on their own. This will allow the chief to develop a staffing pattern that will ensure that the city of Hubbard has coverage even during the times when they're patrolling Donald. If the IGA is approved, staff will begin a community outreach campaign. There will be a joint town hall held in North Marion School District for both Donald and Hubbard community members to attend. Staff will develop information for the Hubbard website, Facebook, Instagram, and newsletter, and will hold a second town hall at the fire hall for Hubbard community members specifically. Staff will now turn it over to council for discussion.
So I had the opportunity to sit into at least one of the reviews with the city of Donald, the mayor, as well as the city manager over there. This is a great opportunity for us to actually supplement the funding that we have currently, gaps, I should say, without increasing fees even higher than the $20, police fee that we are already having to add on to allow us to increase, not want to say increase, but maintain the levels of funding for the police department so we can actually maintain our current staffing levels. So hopefully, if we don't have a problem here getting great police officers, the problem we have is keeping said great police officers because we can't pay them. We're hoping this gives us two things. One, stabilize the funding, and B, also allow officers to have an opportunity to expand and hopefully have more opportunities out there as well. The other benefit we get, of course, out of this, besides the traffic potential revenue, 55,000 a year, so 80K a year. The other benefit we have is we're helping a neighbor out to the north that is lacking police service and hopefully trying to prevent crime from spreading even more. I'm not saying Donald has a horrible crime issue right now. But at the same time, we want to make sure we're protecting our area the best we can, both inside our area as well as just outside. For those that haven't been paying attention, for sure, we've had quite a lot of crime just on the outskirts of Hubbard recently with break-ins, car thefts, etc. Nothing we could do about those are literally outside of our jurisdiction. But we can try to stop the crime. We should probably try. That's at least my take on it. I think it's an opportunity for us to be able to stabilize funding for the police department and hopefully provide some protection up for Donald. Thoughts from council?
I know, and I mentioned this in the past, I don't want to see us following the same footsteps that Jervis did when they decided to patrol everything between Jervis and Donald. Spent more time encroaching upon Butteville and the outskirts of Woodburn. I mean, I think that tainted Jervis in a bad way, and I don't want to see us. And I'm pretty sure the chief will not allow that to happen.
I think in our discussions, it's been very clear that it's in the limits, the city limits of Donald. We're not trying to do anything outside. In fact, if you take a look at what we're doing even with North Marion School District, it's all in cooperation with Marion County Sheriff's Office. Councilor Gilman?
Now, I know that, I don't know about the specifics on where people actually live that post on Facebook, but once a month, commonly, once a week, you see people that are on the Donald, in Donald saying, I've had somebody come by and steal my trailer or trying my front door or that type of thing regularly. And it'd be really good if we could get some, our officers over there to assist with those types of crimes, without those types of incidences. I think it'd be a big help for Donald. And it's great that we can compensate Hubbard for that with the $55,000 and the revenue from the citations that are issued. And like I said, I think it's gonna be a great service to dogs. So that's what I think.
I've had excellent conversations with police chief and police officers, and this sounds like it'll be really good for everybody. So I'm excited for it. Thank you.
The only other comment I could add is I have had extensive discussions with both Administrator Wade and Don Parisi as well, sorry, Chief Parisi. And that is, we cannot see a degradation in coverage within our city. That is absolutely paramount. And also, we don't want to see ourselves just out there ticketing people. That's not what we're going for jurors to do, or not jurors, but Donald to do. So hopefully this is just a great opportunity for us to begin building a greater community involvement, not just with Donald, but hopefully even wider in the future. Okay, with that, sorry, I'm still got that frog in my throat. Sean, are you looking for approval for us to agree to this?
Yes, Mayor. So we are looking for approval for City of Hubbard Police Department to provide police services for the city of Donald and authorize the mayor to execute the intergovernmental agreement.
May I also add to that?
Okay.
So we could do this by, it's gotta be done by resolution. So you could,
Oh, that's right.
yeah. Adopt resolution 776/2024. It could be a resolution for the intergovernmental agreement for law enforcement service, authorizing staff to prepare subject to city attorney approval and authorizing mayor to sign.
Can I make a motion to just, as stated? Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Thank you, Administrator or Director Noel, for the proper terminology. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay, carries with, 4 in approval, 1 absent. I don't mean to be quieter here, I just, my throat's not working well tonight. Let's move on to number 8, intergovernmental agreement for the North Tourism Collaborative. And we'll again hand this over to Administrator Wade.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As staff has discussed with Council over the past several months, the North Marion Tourism Collaborative has been growing and participating or leading the way in several events and marketing campaigns for the North Marion area. All of this work has been funded through grants from Travel Oregon and Marion County. Now that the North Marion Tourism Collaborative is considered a destination marketing organization, or a DMO. The Marion County Commissioners have requested that the collaborative put together a project list and funding requests for fiscal years 25 and 26. The collaborative board estimates that the funding request will be $200,000, $100,000 annually. Given the amount of funding that is now flowing through the collaborative, the board determined it was necessary to formalize roles and responsibilities for the collaborative members. Attached, you will find the intergovernmental agreement for the North Marion Tourism Collaborative and also the strategic plan. I would note that the IGA only identifies roles and responsibilities for the members. It does not commit any city funds.
Thank you.
If at any time city funds are requested, staff would bring back the request to city council for direction. And now staff will turn it over to council for discussion.
With this IGA, let's say a fee does come up and a request does come in, is there any penalty if the board can withdraw from said IGA if we decide we don't want to participate in the fee?
No.
So this is just formalizing an agreement with all the cities that are participating to basically participate, get us a seat at the table.
Correct, and also it clarifies the roles and responsibilities for Marion County. Since they are giving us, $100,000 a year, Woodburn serves as a fiscal agent. That needed to be on record and for auditing purposes, because the dollar amount is so high now.
Any other questions from council? We'll start with Councilor Rogers.
Well, this definitely takes a different shape than what we had before when, in the past, a couple of years ago, we voted not to support SEDCOR because we didn't see any financial benefit. So we kind of yanked that. City of Woodburn came to us for that kiosk, that interpretive kiosk thing. We did not see benefit of that. But now that things have formalized and seems to be much more rigid, I would be much more in support of this. I think we should. I'm okay with it.
Okay, Councilor Snyder.
Just wanted to figure out, because I see you have a seat and that's for Hubbard. How much time do you think this is going to take for you to be part of it?
So I'm currently on their board and we have 2 meetings a month. So we have a board meeting that lasts about an hour. And then we have a larger joint collaborative that has several businesses throughout the North Marion area that attend. And that's usually about an hour to an hour and a half. I'm gonna say overall, maybe 5 hours a month.
And if we didn't have administrators on this,
It would
we probably would not be supporting. Because she is a driving force for this collaborative and has made Hubbard look very well in a lot of people's eyes.
And we wouldn't be eligible to receive some of the grant funds. So for example, the banners that are on 3rd Street, those are paid for through grant funds that otherwise we wouldn't have the opportunity to receive.
Which by the way, they look very nice.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited.
Any other questions, Councilor Snyder?
No, I just want to make sure that your time is used well and that you're not overstretching yourself. But I think it looks really great, so thank you for sharing.
Councilor Arnold?
It's kind of an extension upon what you were asked about being able to withdraw. It's a 30 days advance written notice to withdraw. It's the only thing I see here. I think we had, I don't remember what it was last time when we had a shuttle service. And I forget where the terminus was on this end. My thought is, have more than one parking location. Let's say, Residence or Farmington Park might be one of them. To run the shuttle, the idea being, if we have people coming into Hubbard, gives them an opportunity to stop at, restaurants, and do a little bit more business in Hubbard, our stores. So maybe we could, Residence Park or Farmington Park, have one of the terminuses of a parking area. So when that shuttle is set up, and have, I'm sure, multiple locations, maybe one over in Woodburn. I think that's where the end was in Woodburn previously. But yeah, we can maybe set up one of those. That way the people are being picked up and dropped off here in Hubbard and allows them to visit our businesses here in town. But yeah, I'm definitely in favor of this.
Okay, so with that, we hear voice consensus that we're in favor of it. Is there more special wording that we should be doing on this one, Director? No.
She has a recommendation there and that one is fine.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the intergovernmental agreement for the North Marion Tourism Collaborative and authorize the mayor to execute the agreement.
I second them.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, then that one will carry. Thank you. It's nice when there's a recommendation. With that, let's move on to 9, discussion regarding SB 1530 for wastewater and water system improvements. Again, handing it back over to Administrator Wade.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. So during the 2024 regular session, legislative session, the city of Hubbard was allocated 1.1 million through Senate Bill 1530 for an industrial lift station upgrade, which is needed for the EDU housing development located on the west side of the city. And in addition, other wastewater equipment replacement and water system improvements that are part of the static water pressure project, in which the city was allocated $100,000 in city funds for, so we'll be able to replace. Instead of using the $100,000 of city funds, we will be using $100,000 out of this legislative allocation. On May 3rd, Business Oregon and the League of Oregon Cities hosted a meeting to discuss the allocation process. Staff was informed that Business Oregon will be issuing contracts to all cities that have been allocated funding in the bill, and that the contracts needed to be executed by June 1st. Business Oregon has not issued contracts yet. They anticipate that those contracts will be coming out any day. In order to meet the contract execution deadline, staff is requesting that City Council authorize me, the city administrator, to sign the contract once it's received. Given that the time is of the essence, staff will provide a copy of the contract and discuss terms, reimbursement process, and project timeline in the June City Council meeting.
Oh, no, I just want to say this is just absolutely clear. The fact that our city was awarded this. I love the fact that I got calls from other mayors asking why didn't they get money? So, Administrator Wade, just absolutely fantastic that you were able to get this lobbied and included in the bill that was all passed and signed, but also went over the scrutiny. If anyone was paying attention a couple months ago, a lot of these projects were actually scrutinized and ours was not. So again, phenomenal job. Yeah, it's a no-brainer to me. Councilor Rogers, got your opinion already. Councilor Stein.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Councilor, you're online?
Yep.
Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that, the city accept the 1.1 million allocated in SB 1530 for the wastewater projects and authorize the city administrator to execute the contract.
I second that.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, say nay. And with that, we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, you need the water. You're talking more than me.
I've got two.
Okay, with that, discussion regarding the Marion County Community Prosperity Initiative grant, and again, handing it back over to Administrator Ward.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The city entered into an IGA with Marion County for the Community Prosperity Initiative Grant Program 3 years ago. The city has been allocated $15,000 per year for the past 3 years to use towards the economic development or community improvement projects. The city has previously dedicated these funds for the comprehensive plan, in which $31,000 has been committed for the EOA element of the comprehensive plan development. The county announced that they are continuing this grant program and are providing options for cities to receive $60,000 in a one-time lump sum payment or receive $20,000 over the next 3 years. Staff is recommending that the city requests receiving the funds in one lump sum of $60,000. Before the amendment is drafted for the IGA, the county has requested that cities complete a pre-project form identifying which projects the funds will be used for, and if the funding request is the lump sum or over the 3-year period. Staff has identified a few ideas that align with the project goals and priorities for the council. One is to hire a consultant to assist in the revitalization between Highway 99E and 3rd Street and or other development opportunities, and use the remainder of the funds for the comprehensive plan work. 2, allocate funds to and save them for sidewalk construction projects. And what I mean by that, it could either be the sidewalk replacement program, or it could also be saving towards finishing 3rd Street sidewalk from the north side of A down to just south of Moonbeam. Or we could also look at 5th Street. If we're looking at 3rd Street, it's between 140,000 to 160,000. 5th Street is estimated rough estimate, they're still working on it, but 120,000. So that would get us halfway there on a couple options. I do want to reference the presentation earlier on the EDC. I do think that we have an opportunity to go that direction. We don't necessarily, when he was talking about scope, I think there's an opportunity for me to take on part of that scope, so the cost would be less. So my recommendation, if that is something that the council is supportive, I would come back with a developed scope of what that would look like, if you decided to allocate some of this funding to a consultant. But I will leave it to council for discussion.
As much as I would love to see funds go into consulting, et cetera, we do spend a lot of these funds on reports, et cetera. If you would ask me to prioritize finishing a sidewalk on A Street or not A Street, sorry, 3rd Street or 5th Street, I'm definitely gonna, my request would be that we put those sidewalks in for the pedestrians and not for something they can't see yet. That would be my 2 cents. Although I still think it would be great to explore what we can do for an EDC. I would like to see these funds, as we continue to get them, actually go into, as Councilor Odgers so eloquently put it earlier, projects that the community can see. That's my 2 cents. Councilor Odgers will go around.
Unless I saw a huge interest in a economic group like we used to have. It doesn't really seem like everybody's breaking our door to create one of those. It might be something we need to start small. And over the next year or two, see what kind of interest we have. So I would rather see the money go for infrastructure that's tangible and visible to the community, such as sidewalks.
Councilor Yonley?
Just clarification on that background, first paragraph, which says, committed to a contractor for the EOA. What's this, the EOA again?
That's the economic opportunities analysis that's currently being done by Johnson Economics.
Okay, so,
That's an element of the comprehensive plan that's required.
okay. So yeah, I'd actually like to keep putting in sidewalks myself. I know, I was out there walking around today and it's much nicer.
Okay, with that, Councilor Steiner?
Yeah, I think if we can put the money towards projects, we can see results and make our town even more friendly for walking and just, especially when we have people not coming to the parks for movies at night, just getting more sidewalks. The more we can make it safe and helpful, the better, so.
Okay, so with that, I think you're kind of hearing consensus where we'd like to see the funds go, but I don't think we hear any objection to, of course, obviously continuing the program. So with that, I think the easy motion on this one is again, a motion to accept the Marion County Community Prosperity Initiative grant and direct staff to allocate funds to hire a consultant to assist. No, that's not it. No.
I think it's B.
B, there it is. I was so caught off on the typo. Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the Marion County Community Prosperity Initiative grant and direct staff to allocate funds to sidewalk perfect construction projects and authorize the city administrator to complete the pre-project forms requesting a lump sum allocation of $60,000.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Again, motion carried unanimously. Thank you. This is actually exciting. I like to see anytime we can get money coming in to improve safety, which again, another big area in the visioning thing. And we've been talking about it in council for many, many years, sidewalks and sidewalks. So this is fantastic. Thank you. And I'm glad we're continuing that program. Something we thought would only be a few years. And I remember, I think the last meeting we had before we locked down the COVID was getting that big check. I think it was a big check too. Okay, with that, we'll move on to number 11, mayor and or council presentations. I will open this up to councilors. We'll go around the room, starting with Councilor Yonley. Anything?
I'll just kind of go ahead and put my 2 cents in here. Just trying to figure out where to put it in. Administrator, on your, weekly summaries, we've had talked about our poles down Third Street. And I remember driving along, and seeing those brand new banners on those rusty poles. So if we can, figure out how to take care of those sooner than later, I'd like to see those things, cleaned up and painted, sooner than later. I don't know exactly whether that means 30 days, 60 days, or sometime this year, but the sooner we can get that done, the nicer it's gonna look downtown for sure.
Out of curiosity, is that something that's eligible for like Boy Scouts and, or I guess they're called scouting now, for Eagle Badge project? If we provide the paint, they come out and paint. Is that something that's eligible?
Yeah, we would have to do some prep work on those poles because they're very rusty. But yeah, we could do something like that.
And you want a bunch of young boys climbing the ladders or.
I'm assuming they have those tension rollers, right?
They're painting eyes.
Yeah, but anyhow, I'm just looking for opportunities as well. I think the harder parts honestly is the prep work, getting the poles ready for paint. Otherwise you paint it and it just peels right back off. So, no, I don't disagree with that. I think that's that's part of just making the city look nicer.
And that's all right. Thank you.
Okay, Councilor Steiner,
I don't have anything to make.
Councilor Rogers,
I'd just like to remind everybody that the Relay for Life event's July 22nd on the shoot farm. The Relay for Life is American Cancer Society's largest fundraiser, and so help spread the word, and it's available. We'll come out and enjoy the afternoon, July 22nd, Saturday.
and I don't have anything from the mayor's side. So in terms of moving us along, let's jump right into the report section. We'll start off with City Administrator Witt.
Okay, thank you, Mayor, Council. The April burn rate report is attached to my report. I apologize for the labels at the bottom of the graph. Something happened in transmission via email, but what they're supposed to say is salaries, benefits, services, supplies, utilities, program expenses, capital, and transfers. So overall, staff is projecting to end the fiscal year between 72,000 and 108,000 under budget. At the beginning of the fiscal year, projections indicated that there would be approximately a $232,000 operating deficit. However, with vacancy savings and increase in building improvement, SDC improvement, and interest earnings, revenue came in significantly higher than was in the budget initially. Interest earnings are projected to come in around 60,000 above what was budgeted. And this is a result of leaving more money in our pool account rather than transferring it into our checking account, and maximizing those interest earnings. I have attached issues tracker for council's consideration. And I was wondering if this would be a useful tool for council to track staff assignments. There was one council meeting where Councilor Youngley asked me a status update question, and I thought, I need to figure out a tool to be able to communicate to council better. So wanted to see if this was something that would work well, or if there's modifications that you would like to see. I'm more than happy to hear those.
I like it.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
I like it also.
I don't think you'll ever hear us push back on more information.
All right.
Useful.
Somebody want to make some useful information.
It is, yes, thank you.
And then Marion County is in the process of drafting a letter in response to Metro's request for a role and level of participation desired in the Metro Planning Organization Board. Once the letter is finalized, I'll present it to council for review and signature. I have received input from county staff that while we are submitting this letter, they don't believe we'll get a seat at the table with their board. I have requested that if it's not a representative from Hubbard, can we please at least get a representative for Marion County at the commissioner level or commissioner staff? And they said that was highly unlikely as well. So, and as we talked about, on a high note, we have scheduled 2 movies for, playing in the parks on June 21st at 9:30 and August 23rd at 9 p.m. at Barnsley Park. We're still working with vendors to try and identify some food and beverage. We have popcorn so far, and we're working on a couple other things for beverages. And
That is exciting. Julie, it's gonna be great to see this.
that concludes my report.
Except for the back, you know, showcasing those really cool banners.
Right.
No, it was fantastic to come back from a week away and see there was actually, I think I saw a photo or something posted online from someone who shot one. It was not shot one. Photographer of it. Watch my terminology, we're going to the police report next. Any questions for Director, I'm sorry, Mr. Wade?
There was some scuttlebutt from some of the surrounding counties of Metro about a tax that people were supposed to pay, didn't hear about it, and then they finally got slapped with the bill with interest and all this other stuff. And they were trying to say that it shouldn't have been included, but Metro's saying they are. I mean, I didn't get too deep into it, but they were talking about the tri-county area.
We're not part of the Tri-County.
We're not, but
Well, technically under Metro, we are.
yes.
Okay.
Except for, so we're technically part of the metro planning area. We are not identified as part of a metro planning organization yet. So that's where things will lie as far as what part of that metro organization are we gonna fall? I have heard that as well, that, different cities that have been brought into Metro recently, that none of this was discussed about some of the ramifications. The conversations that we have had are in regards to like emissions testing and what is other taxing, I guess, kind of implications on our community members. And they have never said anything about, it's almost like a membership fee is how they referred to it. So I don't want to pay a membership fee. So we're gonna have those conversations, the county staff and I have talked about that, and we're gonna approach Metro. I will be honest with you, Metro has not been transparent. They have not been transparent through this whole process, and sharing information is very difficult with them.
I just don't want to get slapped with a 2 years worth of hidden tax.
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
Well, the biggest thing is we're not part of their MPO. We're just being pulled into the MPA, right, that metro planning area.
Well, we're starting to be pulled into their MPO, and that's what that letter was saying, that we want a seat at that table. And they're saying, basically, you can request, but it's not gonna happen.
That's all.
Yeah, we keep pushing back, but, okay, Counselor Steiner?
I'm trying to get a hold of the representatives, but so far their scheduler has not returned my phone calls, so I'll keep trying.
Counselor Donald?
Nothing at this point. I need to report. No, I'm fine.
Great. Excellent. Let's move on then to the police department, and we'll start with, not start, but we'll hand it over to Chief Parisi.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, council, members of the community. Yeah, April's been a great month for us. We've been busy. Our reaccreditation process is going well. We're about 56% complete. And so that's going to be due by November. We are intending to have that done by August. So we can then work with the Northwest Accreditation Alliance to become reaccredited again. So we're looking forward to that. Kudos to Molly Schwartz, our executive assistant, who is working very hard on that. So Sergeant Anderson and I attended the ribbon cutting ceremony for the new addition of Liberty House, which is going to be located in Woodburn. So that's going to be a really great addition to the area up here too, to assist with different child assessments and things of that nature regarding criminal investigations that we so. Our certified applicant has finished all phases of the hiring process, so we're really excited about that. This person will be sworn in on May 28th, and they're coming to us with 16 years of police experience, and we're really excited that they are choosing to continue their career here at Hubbard. So can't wait to introduce them. I, of course, attended last month's monthly Marion County Law Enforcement Executive Meeting at UPSST. That went well, nothing too earth-shattering from there. This was really exciting as well. On April 13th, the Hubbard Police Department had the opportunity to engage within our community at a community event at the Hoodview Estates, and that was a lot of fun. We was Sergeant Anderson, Officer Bentley, Officer Hart, and myself that were able to attend that. And we just wanted to get out there and show our faces and kind of just introduce ourselves to our community members and let them know what it is that their police department can do for them and help them with. We also provided some educational information regarding scammers who are always trying to get folks and what have you, and try to how to keep themselves safe from that and whatnot. So it was pretty well attended and very well received. And we've done more of those since. We just recently did a community event at the primary school at North Marion, where the K through, I think it's third graders, we're just coming to pre-register for next year. So we were able to partner with the Hubbard Fire Department, Aurora Fire Department as well, and just had a great time showing off our equipment, cars, pass out stickers, let the kids climb in and out of the cars and the fire trucks. It was just really a great event. One of the more positive things that we get to do, and absolutely is the highlight of our job and whatnot. So I also was able to attend the 2024 Oregon Association Chiefs of Police Annual Conference. This year it was held in Pendleton. It was for the week of April 15th. This was my first one, and it was really a great event for me. A lot of good legislative updates that I was able to gather information on, and attend several different committee groups that I was able to sit in on and listen to. We had some really great speakers there as well. And of course, the networking was phenomenal. I knew a lot of the people just from my 30 years in the business, but I also met a lot of others too that I've connected with that is providing information and stuff like that too, to be helpful as I begin my tenure in this new role. I also helped cover some patrol shift last month because we were a little short on one day. We actually had to adjust one of our officers' trainings or schedule as this officer was able to attend the Oregon Homicide Investigators Association Basic Detective Academy for a week long. So we just adjusted his schedule, so we had to give him a day off on the weekend. So I was privileged to come in and work that shift. It was a great shift. And a lot of other exciting projects that we're working on as a police department with city staff and what have you. So it's a lot of exciting times, a lot of fun times. And yeah, just on behalf of the whole Hubbard Police Department and whatnot, we just want to thank you all, the city staff, and our great community for their support. We feel it's a privilege to serve you all, and we feel blessed to be here as your police department. So thank you very much for everything.
How's Officer Sapp doing? Is he ready to graduate?
He is, yeah. Actually, thanks for bringing that up. He has 2 weeks to go, and then he is excited to come back. He'll be returning home, and he'll be starting phase 1 of his training. I should also say Officer Hart's field training is going well. He's progressing, and we look for him to probably be solo towards the end of this month as well. So that'll be another,
Fantastic.
yeah. It's actually perfect timing as we bring on that certified officer. They'll be solo before you know it, and then Officer Hart will be joining the solo ranks as well, and we're going to have them. Yeah, it's going to be wonderful.
Excellent.
Yes.
And again, thank you for continued engagement inside our school district. I cannot express the importance it is to get these children to see uniformed officers in a good light, and get a chance to engage. To understand you're there to help them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
It's our privilege.
Right, that's my thoughts. I didn't see the staff report this year.
Oh, that may be, I apologize. I believe that was because Molly was gone for 2 weeks in Belize. And, yeah,
it.
so she's back. So I do apologize. Yeah, we missed out on that.
Okay, excellent. I don't have any other additional questions, Chief.
Thank you.
That's Roger.
Yes, it was great to see Hubbard Police at the Community Appreciation Day for North Marion High School Monday night about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Officer Bentley and Officer Hart was there, all members of Woodburn Fire Department, Hubbard Fire Department, Aurora Fire Department was there. The association student body put it on, had pizzas and salads and just it was a thank you to the community and Hubbard was the only police department that was there. So it was great to see them. Kids love the interaction. And then lastly is the Hubbard lending their bike rodeo stuff. Do you know?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I've heard
I
that.
think CERT's coming to use the Hubbard Police Department bike rodeo equipment for this Saturday at Walmart.
Okay.
So CERT is putting on a bike rodeo at Walmart from 11 to 3, and they always use Hubbard Police Departments because they have the best bike rodeo equipment in the whole area. It's pretty awesome with the stop signs and kids.
Pretty cool.
So anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Bring that up. Are you planning in the Hop Festival this year? Not Hops, but Hop. Hop Festival this year to do the bike rodeo again, or is?
I've heard a mention of that. So I'll look into that further, but I have heard mention of that.
Okay, I know we've done it in the past usually, and I think maybe last year, the last couple of years, it's been separate, so.
Problem is you get that many people and you're trying to take up that much space.
Sorry.
It's a little more difficult. But a good Saturday morning out there probably will be happening sooner than later.
Just be great to see kids wearing helmets again. Okay, Counselor Sanders,
I don't have anything.
Counselor Young.
Have no questions, thank you.
Okay, let's move right on. Administrative Department, admin or director.
Well, you guys have already, probably seen our new exciting electronic e-news, what's happening in Hubbard.
That's cool.
Our catchy title, you guys like that?
Yeah.
In July 2024, the utility billing will be mailed monthly, and at that time, we're looking to publish a quarterly newsletter that will be mailed to the residents instead of every billing cycle. We kind of want to get away from the monthly paper, and the newsletter will be English and Spanish. And I wanted to shout out and give a big thanks to Megan and Julie for putting this whole thing together. Megan is also kind of getting us into Instagram and up into the new world, so we're all excited. It does produce a nice little report for us, and the numbers that I have there, I'm sure are already outdated. Who's subscribing to our new e-news.
I think it's great. What, 199 open? I mean,
That was pretty.
honestly, we can't gauge how many people actually have read a newsletter besides someone actually posted on Facebook
Yeah.
last month. Did you read the newsletter? And that person?
And now we're up to about 521 people to send it out to, so the database is probably.
Excellent.
And we're getting more people subscribing, because I checked that, and people click and have been subscribing off of the website.
Even better. Still subscribing.
Yeah.
So we're looking into some bulk mailing on that quarterly newsletter, and that will be, we're scheduling that around in October to start doing that. Moving down to planning, we do have a variance request on the agenda this next Tuesday for the planning commission. On the city council, I was going to request a joint work session with the planning commission That's gonna be pending, some things have come up and we might need to move that out a month, so I'll have to get back to you on that and see if that's gonna work out for you. I do, have at the June 11th meeting, we're gonna be starting at 6:30. Wanted to remind you about that. We'll be holding executive session, prior to the regular session.
Just remind me when it comes closer to, I usually look at the start times. I'm always here early.
Okay, perfect. Laserfish, we're just about done with that project. And also, I don't recall, mentioning in my last report, but we've started putting up old reframing and putting up the old pictures that you scanned in, and Julie's been, kind of having to manipulate with this program that we're ordering through. We have some more ordered and we're just gonna continue to build on what we have.
They're fantastic, by the way. It just sets a great ambience when you come into the building to see the old historical photos.
I just wanted to point that out because I wasn't sure. if anybody saw.
Oh, I see them every time. And I like the relocation of the old city hall there back when it was I guess, an armory. So
So we have some, we already have some plans and things on order that's gonna be right next to that, so.
yeah, if anyone from council or quite honestly, anyone from the city wants copies of these photos, reach out to me. I can throw them on a thumb drive. They're fantastic historical photos of the city across the board. So
They really are. I don't have anything else unless you have a question.
Councilor,
I have no questions, thank you.
Councilor Godwin?
No questions.
I'm gonna keep getting you guys confused with you. It's not.
I don't have any questions either.
Okay, no, just a thank you to, and this actually goes back to both Administrator Wade as well as, Vicky, just getting the budget committee training done, making sure we're prepped and ready, so we can have hopefully a simple and smooth budget committee meeting tomorrow evening.
Well,
Thank you.
until we go through it tomorrow.
And then you're gonna be like, oh, it's weird about it.
Okay, there's no additional questions. Let's move on to public works, and I hand it over to Superintendent McRae.
Councilors, Mayor, a couple of things for the update. The splash fountain will be going through. We'll be testing the equipment on Thursday. We had some issues with the electricians, and the plumbing is taking a little longer than what we had expected. But we still are on track for an opening Friday of next week.
Kudos to you guys. You've been busting your butts out there. I've seen it. You guys have been out there almost every day that I can tell, sometimes 2 trucks going in and out, in and out. Painted it sometime over the last week. So, I mean, you guys are doing great, getting that moved ahead.
Yeah, you gotta thank Bill for the paint. He just didn't like it the way it was. It didn't match.
That's what I was wondering. If you guys were gonna be able to match it, or if you were just gonna repaint the whole darn thing.
Well, we decided we're gonna repaint the whole darn thing, but it's gonna be a little bit before we can get to it. We went out for, gone out for a request to buy the gear drive for the, clarifier at the wastewater plant, so that's been a long drawn out process, but we finally have, made our decision and worked through all the technicalities on that, and so hopefully that'll happen within the next 60 days, hopefully, if nothing else goes wrong. We've got the posting for recruitment for the summer hire. We have got nobody. So we're probably be looking into maybe a temporary agency this year to at least take care of the flower beds in the parks. Other than that, we're moving forward on the wastewater treatment facilities plan. We have a weekly meeting with the engineer, and we would discuss issues and come up with decisions on how to go forward with that. So, the meter read equipment, I thought that was kind of a good one to touch bases with you with. We have gone from a fairly large 4-pound handheld device that has been problematic since we bought it to something that's the size of a cell phone that'll do exactly the same thing. So we're sure that, in the future, we're not gonna have the problems that we had. Programming them's easy. There's things you don't have to do to them every month. They tend to hold the information better than the bigger ones. So that was, definitely a plus to upgrade too. That's about all my, updates. Do you have any questions for me?
How are we doing on the railroad crossing sidewalk?
We're going through the, contract with the contractor, the railroad contract that we have to fill out, so the contractor can actually access their property. We're going through that at this point, but we're still on track to get it done this contract, or this construction season.
Okay, great. The other thing is the railroad just did some work along the two crossings, D and G Street. Afterwards, there was obvious damage from their equipment on the road, from the asphalt. Is that something they're gonna pick up, or is it expected we have to fix that?
Yeah, I had the discussion with them and they pretty much told us that, it's on us. So, we've got some coal patch planned to go into those, and when we get a paving company in town, I'll discuss with them, coming out and maybe, putting a thin layer of pavement over that.
So not to cause problems in the future, because right now I want to make sure we get our sidewalk done. But in the future, when they come out to do work, is there anything we can do to ensure that they don't do that type of damage again?
We can talk to them about it, but that's not gonna guarantee anything, because their attitude is, it's our property.
The only other question I have maybe for future discussion as well, I noticed, because I love to walk in these beautiful evenings, is crossing the tracks at, D Street. I'm starting to see them wear down, both sides. I'm assuming from the trucks going over, just pressing that down. Is that something we could start looking at in the future, probably trying to repave that area to fix what's just the degradation of that part of the road?
Yeah, that's actually what I'm talking about. We can either add it on to a project we've already got going in town, which would be less expensive for us, because at that point you don't have the mobilization
Right.
fee. Or we can look into it, as part of our, patching programs that we do. We do little sections of the worst parts of our roads. So we just add that to it. So yes, that's being looked at. We're dealing with it just in the
I know, it's just one of those things I would ask for you guys to try to keep an eye on. Primarily, it's the main road that people are using to come in. I want to try to keep it as nice looking as we possibly can. But those are the questions I have right now, Councilor Roberts.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Councilor Stein,
I don't have any questions.
Councilor Young.
And I know it's probably posted on the website when it comes to that, summertime help. So is there, physical requirements as in they have to be able to lift so many pounds or,
basically what the particulars of the job are, they have to be 18, they have to have a driver's license.
that's
Pretty much what the main job will be for them is sitting on a lawnmower.
all right. So I just think I have somebody possibly in mind, but they haven't been interested in getting a job recently, so I don't know how motivated they would be. Okay, it's not a lawnmower, drive it around. All I gotta do.
That's okay.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, if we're done with that section, let's move on to other agencies, and I do see Chief Carmen online. Chief, do you have an update for us this month? Unmuted. I bet you right now he's fiddling with his microphone.
How about now?
Oh, we can hear you now. I told you that. There you go.
Oh, perfect. In April, we had 70 calls for service. That's 10 more than we had in April of 2023. Most of the call types were basically the same. There was just slightly more. Some things going on around the district is our budget was approved by the budget committee. and it will go for a public hearing on June 12th, 6:30 at the Hubbard Fire Station. So anyone that's interested in that can come down and observe that. With the budget being out of the way, we've been working on a lot of grants. We did receive a seasonal grant from the Oregon State Fire Marshal's Office that will allow us to have one extra person on 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., July 1st through October 31st, roughly about $35,000. In addition to that, got about 11 other grants out totaling about $500,000. So we're just kind of waiting to hear on those. And they're everything from additional staffing to personal protective equipment, down to updated equipment. So we're currently fully staffed. We have 40 members. And when I say we're fully staffed, we don't have the gear to bring on any more members. So a blessing and a curse. But we are able to meet the mission of the district. So that's going well. And we've just been getting ready for wildland season. It's been predicted that it'll be more active than last year. So it's always better to come from a standpoint of being prepared rather than being caught off guard. So we've been already working on the wildland refresher training and getting all the equipment ready to go for those wildfires if they come in.
Well, this is fantastic. One thing I do is congratulations again to your firefighter for being recognized and awarded. I read that paper or the article in the Woodburn Independent, and that's just fantastic. So again, congratulations to the professionalism of your department.
Thank you.
Any questions for Chief Carmen from the council? Officers, no? No. Okay, we're good. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, guys.
Let's move on to consent agenda. A reminder that number C was amended to remove city administrator to sign to say mayor. So I will read as amended. First one is approval of April 9, 2024 city council meeting minutes. B, approval of the April 2024 check register report. C, approval of the agreement between the Mid-Willamette Valley Council of Governments and the city of Hubbard for land use planning services, July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025, and authorizing the mayor to sign. D, approval of the collective bargaining agreement between the city of Hubbard and the Oregon FOP Labor Council from May 14th, 2024 to June 30th, 2027, contract number 0004. E, approval of Jacob Ramirez application to use the community garden located at 3827 4th Street from June, I'm assuming that's June through September 2024, and request to waive all water fees. F, accept and authorize the city administrator Sean Waite to sign the project engineering civil west water system improvements engineering scope of services addendum number 2. That is a mouthful. Accept, and G, accept and authorize city administrator Sean Waite to sign the Rebuild It Services proposal number Q105129-A for the WWTP Clarifier Rebuild Project. Option 2 plus recommended drive oil in the amount of $65,871.54.
I'll make a motion. We accept the consent agenda as stated.
Make a second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed say nay. Consent agenda carries unanimously. One of these days, I'm gonna find Mrs. Moore, my 3rd grade teacher, and say, I could read out loud. Okay, with that, any other city business, council?
Just remembered one thing. Did you see on, not that I'm on Facebook much, but somebody just reposted a picture of our old La Car.
I saw that.
Police La Car
Yeah.
from the 70s.
If we still don't have that, that'd be funny just to see.
I know there's other photos still floating around here, but that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah, a little story on that one. I get called back in the bedroom. My wife shows me that picture. Is this for real? Yeah, they had cars back in the day.
I have friends that used to come to town, look for it, do burnouts and then take off.
Remember when someone put a wind up thing on it? Do you remember that? Wind up.
So, you know, you're talking about historical photos, and I might want to hang.
I think that is a great one. I was just gonna suggest that. That might be an interesting one to hang, especially on. Okay, with that, Counselor Sunny, or any other new business? And or Counselor, okay, city staff, any additional other business? Okay, with,
We adjourn.
okay, yeah, second, all those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are done for the evening or the month. See you all, or at least, yeah, see you guys tomorrow. Huh?